Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion. Today I'm looking at my favorite hero cards from Wave 6. This one will be slightly longer than the previous ones just because there are 8 heroes in this wave. Let's start in the Mutant Genesis box with Colossus. I really do like Colossus as long as you don't play with someone who has piercing or gets a lot of extra activations. Colossus can be a lot of fun. Now there are 2 cards that I really like in Colossus's kit. One that I think is fantastic and one that I think is essential. One I think is fantastic is Armor Up. It's an alter ego interrupt. When the villain activates, change to hero form. So with this in hand, you can go down to alter ego. It's almost as good as a confuse. It interrupts the villain's scheme, and then you flip up to hero form. And in Colossus, of course, when you flip up to hero form, you get a tough status card. So you're not going to get the scheme, you're not going to take any damage, so I really like Armor Up. One I think is essential, though, is Iron Will. After a tough status card is discarded from Colossus, draw 1 card. He only has a hand size of 4, so any time you can draw extra cards in Colossus, you need to take advantage of that. So for me, and I think probably for a lot of people, my favorite card is Iron Will. Next we'll go to Shadowcat. I didn't give Shadowcat a good enough chance when I first played her. I played her 2 or 3 times and I thought, okay, this is interesting, and I moved on. 222 is a good stat line. I like this selective intangibility. While you are phased, she ignores guard and patrol and crisis icons. So that's pretty good just on its own. There are, of course, some cards that I really like. Shadowcat Surprise is nice. Deal 3 damage, ready your hero. She has an attack of 2, so attack, deal 3, attack. You're up to 7 damage. I really like that. For me, the one that I think is the best in her kit is Quick Shift. Where did it go? When an enemy attacks, if you are in solid mass form, change to phased form. If you're in phased form, draw 2 cards. So either of these is good to be in when you start because it is a defense card and it counts as defending. So even if you were in solid mass form, you get to change to phased. And phased says, while she is defending, she cannot take damage. So you can start in solid, play Quick Shift, now you are in phased, and because Quick Shift is a defense card, you're also defending. This is going to, of course, flip back because you have defended now and you're in phased form. So this force response, after you attack or defend in phased mass form, flip this card. So this is going to flip back, but that's okay because you didn't take any from the attack. So that's my favorite in Shadowcat, Quick Shift. Now I might change that if I played her more, and I do intend to play her some more. I might change my opinion on that, but for now anyway, Quick Shift is my favorite. Let's move on to Cyclops. I didn't play him when I first got him. Of course, I just dug all the cards out and separated them, put them in my box. But I do like Cyclops quite a bit. I built a really fun deck for Cyclops. He does have several good cards. I mean, Full Blast is fantastic. When you use your Optic Blast ability, exhaust him, deal 8 additional damage. This gains Overkill. So what is that, 11 with Overkill? That's pretty cool. The card for me, though, the one I like the most in Cyclops is Tactical Brilliance. 2-cost event, remove 3 threat from a scheme, choose a tactic card in your discard pile, add it to your hand. And you're not limited to tactical cards in his kit. Was it in here as well? No, it must have come out at another time. Rapid Response is a tactic card, so you could grab that with it. In fact, the deck that I built for him uses Phoenix as a recursion. It recurs Phoenix. After Phoenix enters play, choose a Cyclops card in your discard pile, add it to your hand. I would add Tactical Brilliance. Use Tactical Brilliance, return Rapid Response to my hand. Play Rapid Response so that when I use up Phoenix, she comes back into play, which lets me go grab Tactical Brilliance and do that over and over again. There are a lot of good cards in Cyclops, but for me, Tactical Brilliance is my favorite. Next, let's go to Phoenix. Phoenix is a lot of fun, and I'm changing my mind about her. I have had fun when I played her, but I always dreaded her nemesis, Dark Phoenix. And I played her the other day, and I thought, holy cow, this really ratchets up the tension. You know, Shadow of the Past is usually bad anyway, but this really ratchets up the tension when Dark Phoenix could enter the game, and it's actually made her more fun to play. I know we hate getting our nemesis. I shouldn't say that. Sometimes we hate getting our nemesis. It all depends on timing. But Dark Phoenix is a beast of a nemesis, and I think it makes playing Phoenix more fun when you have that tension. If you're playing on Standard 3, it's almost guaranteed that Dark Phoenix is going to come out. I say almost because I have played 2 or 3 Standard 3 games where I won fast enough that my nemesis didn't come out. But I really do like Phoenix, and Dark Phoenix actually makes her more fun for me. The card in her kit that I really enjoy is Mind Control. Attached to a non-elite minion, take control of that attached minion and treat it as a controlled ally with a blank text box. Its thwart is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 1 consequential damage after it thwarts her attacks. Now 4 is a lot to play, but this is a hero-specific upgrade. So superpower training can go find it. And especially when she has a thwart of 3 while she is still restrained, you can almost do that on Will. Not only does she have that 3 when she's restrained, she's going to have counters which you can use as resources. So, you can play superpower training for free, basically, thwart it off immediately while she's restrained, and go get mind control to take control of a minion, and it is now attacking for you. I thought that was a lot of fun. That makes it my favorite card in Phoenix. And I have been playing her in Protection. Karma is a lot of fun. I also run Black Widow. I had been using Black Widow to say no to her obligation and to Shadow of the Past. But I think she would do well in any aspect. So that is my favorite in Phoenix, Mind Control. Next we're coming to Wolverine. He's actually the first X-Men character I built a deck for. 2/2/2 is a great stat line. When you're after the player phase begins, heals 2 damage. That's great. Especially when you have his claws, which you are going to be using to deal yourself damage. But he does have a lot of fun cards too. Adamantium Skeleton, +4 hit points. He only has 10, so +4 is pretty big. +1 attack, and basic attacks gain piercing, and that's huge. Now he's attacking for 3 with piercing, just like his ally versions. aggression version has 3 attack with piercing, and the version in Jubilee has 3 attack with piercing. So I thought that was really cool. That gets him up to 3 with piercing. My favorite card, there are 2 that I like. Track by Scent is very good. It's a 2 cost, remove 3. If it removes the last, draw 2. That is super big, again, with all of these player side schemes that only have 3 threat on them. Very good card, but my favorite is this big boy here, Lunging Strike. Deal 8 to an enemy. If you used his claws to pay this for free, this gains Overkill. Now, it is not only gaining Overkill, it's also gaining Piercing from the claws. So this is 8 with Piercing and Overkill. Lunging Strike is such a good card, especially if you have a low HP minion with or without a tough status. But I've used this Lunging Strike many times against the Armored Guard in Claw because it is going to shred through his tough, shred through his 3 hit points, and still do 5 to Claw. Lunging Strike, very fun card. That is my favorite in Wolverine. Next we come to Storm. Storm was the second X-Men that I built a deck for. She is an actual blast, an absolute blast. She has some very good cards. I saw something on someone else's stream, someone in chat was saying, don't you just always start in Thunderstorm? I do not start in Thunderstorm. I start in Clear Skies, so that on my first turn, I can flip to Thunderstorm and get this extra 2 damage. She has a lot of good cards. There were 2, again, that I considered for my favorite. Blast of Wind I really like because it's deal 3 to the villain and each minion engaged with you, basically, because I only play solo. But then you get to resolve the special. So it doesn't matter what special you're in, Blast of Wind will still get to trigger it. So sometimes I'll want to be in Thunderstorm for that to happen, so that I get an extra 2 damage. Sometimes I'll want to be in Clear Skies when I do that, so that I can also draw a card. When I first made my list, I actually had Blast of Wind as my favorite. Lightning Bolt is way more powerful. It's 3, deal 8, and then if Thunderstorm is in play, deal 2 more. So that is a very good card too, but I like Blast of Wind because it doesn't matter which whether you have in play, you're going to get to resolve it special. But as I was pulling the cards off of Hall of Heroes, I remembered, oh yeah, Weather Goddess is so good. You get 1 swap every turn with your hero, and Weather Goddess lets you swap an additional time. It's going to let you swap, and it's going to let you resolve the special. So what I like here is if I get a stun or confuse, I can just use Weather Goddess to go to Clear Skies. Not only is that going to draw me a card with its special, it's also going to give me Stalwart, which clears off that stun or confuse. Then I can use my 1 free swap for the turn and swap back up to the one I want. So Weather Goddess, it feels a lot like Speed of Light in Spectrum, but I think it's even better in Storm because of that triggering the special. A lot of fun. Storm has been just an absolute blast for me, and my favorite card for her is Weather Goddess. Let's move on to Gambit. Gambit's got this great thing. Every turn you can use an action, place a charge counter here. And of course, his resource card also adds charge counters. Molecular Acceleration. When you spend this, place a charge counter. For me, the best card in his kit is Charged Card. Deal 4. for this attack, if Gambit's throw to card ability removed at least 1, it also gains ranged, which means now it's actually 2 for 5 and ranged. If it removed at least 2, it also gains piercing. Now it's 2 for 6 ranged and piercing. And if it removed 3, it also gains overkill. So now it's 7 ranged, piercing, and overkill. Just like Lunging Strike could take out those armored guards and claw so easily and still do damage to claw, Charged Card will do the same thing. Anytime you're coming up against a minion with a tough status card, Charged Card is the card I want to see. In Gambit, Charged Card, absolutely my favorite card. That only leaves Rogue. Rogue is another one that she's fun to play around with because of all the different things you can do with her. You know, touch an ally, you get aerial. Let's find her touched card. Touch an ally, you get aerial. Touch a hero, you gain stalwart. That's another thing, you know, if you get a tough, or rather a stun or a confuse, just attach touched to Rogue this turn, and it's going to knock that off. If you attach it to the villain, you gain retaliate, a minion, and now your attacks gain overkill, and that can be really good as well. I really like, and it's better, way better in a multiplayer game, superpower adaptation. Now in solo, this is basically a zero cost tutor. You say, okay, I want to touch my ally. Okay, that was a protection ally, so now I get to go tutor a protection card. Or that ally was Professor X. Okay, that's a basic card. Now I get to go tutor a basic card. Identity specific, though, is I think where you want to be when you're doing that. So that could be a really good 1-2 punch, so to say. You got stunned during the villain phase. Use touched to touch it to yourself. You gain stalwart, knock off that stun, and then play superpower adaptation, and you're going to get to go tutor an identity specific event. That can do some really interesting things in multiplayer because you can touch another hero and grab an identity specific card from their kit. So that's very interesting. I don't play multiplayer, but there are some uses I would really like to see, and that's actually really cool. You can see she is using that to gain abilities from Colossus. That's really cool. I actually never noticed that before. Anyway, for me, a favorite card in Rogue's kit is Superpower Adaptation. So those are my picks for Wave 6. Iron Will, Quick Shift, Tactical Brilliance, Mind Control, Lunging Strike, Weather Goddess, Charged Card, and Superpower Adaptation. Let me know in the comments which are your favorite from this wave. Let me know which are your favorite heroes from this wave. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.